Going in at the floor 49, Connor is going to do his thing, put up his buffs, allowing Nathalia to activate her trait, put up her buffs, and then use the Rage Aura, as you can see there, and she is going to be nuking them sky high. Hello everybody, my name is BearCozy, and today we're playing some Awaken Chaos Era. Now, if it's your first time joining me, I strive to make not only entertaining, but also educational content, and I try to put as much value in my videos as I can. If you're coming back, thank you so much for coming back and supporting the channel. All your views, your subscribes, and your likes all help me continue making the content. Void Tower reset not too long ago, and I want to go ahead and run some Void Tower with you. Now, I did clear Void Tower on normal last rotation, and as you can see, the rotation is up again, and I did make it too hard, but I did not make it through hard very far. So, what I'm looking at right now is Void Tower, and I'm looking for the rewards. As you could see, there are lots of pumpkins, and I'm primarily looking for Stardust so I can do some limited summons. And since this is a play along, feel free to follow me, my journey. I like to record my successes, my failures, and also my progress. I like to record my journey and talk about my thoughts. Now, as you can see, every time Void Tower resets, the enemies get a different buff that is called a rune mark. If we click on the rune mark, you could see that at the beginning of each round, the enemy gains 1 stack of Blessing of the 7 Gods, max 7 stacks. So right now, I'm actually not sure what that is since I have not run it yet because I wanted to do it together. Now, the other thing to know is not only am I really looking forward to the rewards, but also since I cleared Void Tower on the last rotation, I do have a multi-battle available. So when you clear Void Tower, you will get a multi-battle available, and you should be able to cruise right through it. So right now what I'm going to do is I have plenty of energy, but if we need to, we're going to replenish it with diamonds. I don't think I have very many coupons left. And let's go ahead and just run it right up to floor 50, since the first 50 floors will take some time, and they should be fairly easy to beat. Going in! Now, in the last rotation, I did use wind streaks as the enemies are much faster the higher up you go. And at the last 4 or 5 stages, I needed to bring wind streaks in for that increased buff speed. This time, I am not going to need her. What I am going to do, I'm actually going to go ahead and use Nathalia and Zatlux. Those are my main damage dealers. I'm looking for Connor. Where is my Connor? Connor's only level 50. He's way back down there. But as you can see, he's actually fully ascended. He's 5 stars ascended right now because I can't stop pulling copies of Connor and Rodira, unfortunately. So Connor is going in, Zatlux is going in, Nathalia is going in, and I am going to go ahead and use Aurak. I just recently built Aurak. His gear is not the greatest, but he does do a lot of damage on his ultimate. For spells, I am going to go ahead and use Sundering Purgatory for that defense down. Connor is going to be going first, so not only will he be putting buffs on our team, making them hit harder, giving them attack and shields, but he's also going to be placing Sundering Purgatory on the enemies. Now, since Connor is going first, we want him the fastest. Obviously, Connor is being followed up by Nathalia, and Connor's buffs will actually activate Nathalia's trait, and then Nathalia is going to go ahead and use this Rage Aura to kill as many enemies as she can. And then we'll bring in Zatlux to clean up the waves, and that's what he excels at. And if we have any issues on the boss, we can use Aurak, which I don't expect he will get much action here. Going into the first floor, the first thing I am going to do is actually put it on 2x speed right up at the top hand corner. And Connor's going to do his thing. Nathalia's going to do her thing. I wish this was skippable. I kind of get tired of seeing it. It is really, really nice, but after you've seen hundreds of animations and the same animation, it does get tiring. But this is kind of cool. I really like Nathalia. Floor 1 went very easy. Going into floor 2, you can see the enemies are only level 20. Nathalia has no issues cleaning them up. But I figured since this is a progression video and I like to record my progress, whether they're successes or failures, I also like to show my struggles in between so you can kind of take a look and see what's working for me, what's not. Hopefully that helps you make your own educated decisions. And I also enjoy recording the videos that you can watch and hang out. The first few floors, I would assume probably the first 25, 30 floors would be very easy. So there's not going to be much going on here. But I figured as they do their thing, we can just kind of hang out and watch them do their thing. And I'm really enjoying the auto since I don't have to, or I should say the multi-runs, since I don't have to click every turn and I don't have to manual it. There we go. There's our victory. Floor 4. That was easy. We do get a bunch of jelly. So jelly will actually help me to promote more heroes, which will be nice. I wish this had a 4 speed. 4x speed would be a lot better. It is a little bit slower, but I am recording this on the laptop, and the laptop does tend to run a little bit slower than the computer. That was floor 5. This is floor 6. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to skip ahead so we don't have to watch these early floors, and then we can skip ahead to some more of the better content so we can kind of hang out and enjoy the progress and see the results, claim our rewards, and things like that. Well, the first 10 floors are done, and we are on floor 11. Now, if I look at the results as soon as the animation finishes, if I look at the results, you could see that I'm actually getting some really nice spoils here. I'm getting the much needed Stardust, which I'm really hoping for the limited summons. And of course, you could see I'm getting jelly and pumpkins. So that is working out really, really well for me. Now, so far, I know that many of you will say that you don't have, or you may not have, Aurak, and you actually don't need him. So far, Aurak has not done a thing. He's just here taking up space. Now, as you can see, the synergy is very, very good between Connor, who is very easy to get in the Covenants. Zatlux you can get in the Covenant as well. Nathalia I actually got for download in the game. It just happened there was a promotional event going on. I downloaded her, and I think a day or two she was in my mailbox. And I actually was not going to build her, but I decided to build her, and I really, really liked her. So right now, as you can see, the synergy is working really, really well. Now, if you don't have Nathalia or Aurak, you can use Antonua. She's really, really good. She's a very good single target damage dealer. You can also use whoever you have. I know a lot of my friends have different heroes than I do, but Zatlux, all you primarily need for these waves is Zatlux, and if your Zatlux is not strong enough, bring Connor. So all you need is really 2 heroes. The rest you can kind of fill in the blank. If your Zatlux has really good gear, of course, Zatlux is going to be able to just solo all these waves all the way to probably floor 70, 80, something like that. You could see Nathalia is doing most of the damage for me, and whoever she's weak against and does not kill, Zatlux will do the rest. And if your Zatlux is not strong enough to take care of everybody by himself, bring in Connor, and Connor will put on the much needed buffs, and you'll be able to fly through. Here we go, going into floor 20. As you can see, they're plowing very, very nicely. I am getting some really good rewards. And Aurak, so far, has not done a thing. He's just hanging out and just looking pretty over here. So primarily right now, it's Nathalia, Connor, and Zatlux. Now, Connor's just putting up the attack buffs and the shields, which are not being used. But I would imagine as we go up against more bosses, we are going to be utilizing Aurak, as I don't know if Nathalia and Zatlux will have enough damage. Now, as you can see right now, they do. That was floor 20. We get our rewards. We should have our pumpkin for that. Let's go ahead and check that out, and we're going to continue progressing through. Taking a quick look at the rewards, we've seen some of these, and floor 10, floor 11, we're getting some good stuff. Floor 15, we got a nice pumpkin. Floor 17, we're getting gold. Floor 20, we got a meal coupon, which is very, very nice. And of course, we got 5 Stardust, so now I am up to 405. I am trying to get 500 for that 10 summons, for the limited summons. We do have very nice limited summons right now, not only for the hero synthesis, but also the Legos are pretty good. So I'm hoping to get something good there, as I have not pulled an epic or a legendary off the limited summons just yet. Well, moving right along to floor 25, we're doing very, very well. The enemies are still only level 36, but they are starting to climb. I remember the first time around in Void Tower, the enemies were fairly easy, and the first 50 floors were fairly easy, even with a very basic and a very budget team. If you have not seen that video and you are struggling in Void Tower, go ahead and check that out. The final stages of Void Tower, I did end up using Virgil, I used Nathalia, and I used Zatlux, and in the final very few last stages, believe the last 5 or so, last 8, I did have to bring in Winstrix for her ultimate, which increases everyone's speed because my team was going last and they were actually getting destroyed. So going into floor 26, let's talk about synergy. Now, as you can see, I have very nice synergy with my team, and it is working very, very well. Now, right now, I have Connor going first. He is the fastest on my team, and because I want him to go first, put up those buffs. When he puts up buffs, it kicks in with Nathalia's trait, which gives her additional buffs, and it makes her single target spells hit AoE. So you want to have at least one buff on her. Now, Nathalia is not ascended at all, and I wish she was, because she would be a lot better and do a lot more damage with her ascended trait, but unfortunately, I cannot get any other copies of her. Zatlux, of course, is ascended once. I did get lucky and pull him from my first 5 pull, where you get to pick which heroes you want. He was my best choice, so I went and picked Zatlux, and of course, I completed my Covenant, did my arena battles, and I got a secondary copy of him, and I ended up ascending him that way. Zatlux is ascended twice. The first copy I got from my 5 free summons, which you get to pick after you clear, I believe it's chapter 2. You get to pick your 5 summons, and you get to pick which heroes you want. Him I got from that. I got an additional copy of Zatlux from the Covenants, so that will make my second copy. And the second Ascension was actually an Awaken Soul Arcana, which I got as a reward, I believe, in Endless Trial. By the way, Endless Trial can give you very, very good rewards, so make sure to complete that. I will be making a play-along video on that sometime soon, but right now I want to go ahead and claim my rewards in Void Tower. Now, going into floor 30, the idea here is to bring AoE damage dealers. For me, I am using Nathalia because I have her. You can use anyone that you have that does AoE. Poisoners will not work since most poisons take some time to build. They do scale off the enemy's max HP, and as you can see, these enemies don't have very high HP. So you need somebody that does really good damage that will do AoE. You could bring Evira, you can bring anybody that does some good AoE straight damage, and that should work just fine. Now, there we go, going in, we're up against Santos. This should be no problem, and this should give us some very, very nice results. Going into floor 31, let's take a look at our results. The first 15, 20 floors we've seen. I'm curious as to what else we got. So floor 25 gave us a 3-star pumpkin, and of course we are still getting the much needed Stardust. Floor 30 actually gave me a meal coupon, which I only have 3 left. I've been running a lot of dungeons. And we do have some Stardust. So my Stardust is going up. I'm up to 428, which is nice. I am working on getting to 500. Skipping right through to floor 40, Connor is going to come in and put up his buffs. And then Nathalia is actually going to activate her trait, put up her own self buffs, and use the Rage spell to go ahead and clean up the waves. There she goes, using her ultimate again, which does reset if she kills anybody. Zatlux does the same. If his ultimate kills anybody, it does reset. So that's working out really nice. So far, Aurak has not done a thing. There goes Connor with his buffs. There goes Nathalia putting up her self buffs and normally using the Rage spell, but she did use that very early. And right now, it is not available. Now, this is floor 40, and so far, we are moving right along. There we go. Zitlin goes down, and Balberith goes down very, very easily. Here we go, floor 41. You can see Connor is going to go in with the defense down, plus the buffs up. Nathalia is going to put up her own buffs, plus the Rage Aura from the spell that we bring, and she's going to be nuking them down. Now, if you are wondering, this rotation of Void Tower has a Blessing of the 7 Gods, which means when stacked 7 times, it stuns the target during attack for 1 turn. This effect cannot be removed. So this is something to keep in mind, which is exactly why we want to bring as much damage as we can, primarily AoE or somebody like Zatlux who can keep killing. Because if we don't bring enough damage and we take too many turns, that is actually going to be very bad for us, and our heroes will end up getting stunned. So far, we have enough damage going through, and that is primarily due to synergy. Now, we are going to be going into floor 42 or 43. Going into floor 42, you could see I have a very nice synergy with Connor doing not only the defense down, but the attack up, which activates Nathalia's trait. that allows Natalia to not only kill the enemies, but she also is going second. So that will allow her to put up the Rage Aura, which means she will do 50% more damage. So that is how we're handling that. Zatlux is going third to clean up anybody that's left alive. And so far, Aurak has been hanging out, doing nothing, just standing there looking intimidating. Going into floor 43, you could see the reason why my team is doing so well is because of their synergy. Now, Connor is in here for multiple reasons. As I've mentioned, not only is he doing defense down, which is from our spell, but Connor also brings the much needed buffs, not only to help our team do damage, but also help Natalia activate her trait so she can put up her own self buffs and turn her single target damage into AoE. And so that is the reason why Connor is going first, and that is exactly why Natalia is going second. And as I've mentioned, Zatlux is going third, so anybody that is left alive, hopefully Zatlux can kill. If he does not, we do have Aurak. Aurak is a little bit on the slower side, but if you look on the bottom at the rotation and the rounds, you could see that our Aurak is scheduled to go before the enemy team if Zatlux does not kill him. Going into floor 45, I wanted to do the last 10 floors together. As the enemies are starting to get a little bit stronger, they are level 43, so they are not 60 yet, but they are getting there. So as we continue clearing together, I wanted to talk a little bit more, and I wanted to kind of hang out so we can progress together. So I am liking making these progression videos. If you are liking the progression videos, leave me a comment down below. I would love to know if you want to see more of these or if you want to see less of the video. I know some people, myself included, like to watch progression videos. I really enjoy watching progress. The videos I primarily watched, the most playthroughs, was on XCOM, Enemy Unknown, and XCOM 2. And I really enjoy XCOM, so I watched a lot of play-along videos there when I could not play. So if you're enjoying these, leave me a comment down below. I'm really enjoying not only making the progress, but I'm also enjoying watching myself progress. I know a lot of my friends have been asking what I have been doing for Void Tower since I am only 33 days in, and I did clear Void Tower fairly early in the last rotation. I only cleared normal because I am only 33 days in, and at that point I believe I was 28, 29 days, so I'm not in very, very far. And the only money I've spent on the game was on the Magic Pass. Going into floor 47, the enemies are starting to get a little bit tankier and a little bit harder to kill. Now, one thing I wanted to mention here was not only the synergy, which I've talked about, but also keep an eye on the elemental advantage. As you could see, I have a water hero who is Natalia, I have a wood hero who is Zatlux, and I have 2 fire heroes. Now, in the last rotation, the only fire hero I had was Connor, but in all fairness, Aurak hasn't done a thing yet, so we're not really utilizing him. So keeping an eye on the elemental advantage is very, very big. Heroes with an elemental advantage do 50% more damage. Water is strong over fire, fire is strong over wood, and wood is strong over water. And that is primarily why I have Natalia and I have Zatlux. They are both different elements, and they help to balance each other out. Now, of course, Connor is in here. Connor is fire, but he's not a damage dealer. He is more support, and I wouldn't even call him a healer. Going in to floor 49, Connor is going to do his thing, put up his buffs, allowing Natalia to activate her trait, put up her buffs, and then use the Rage Aura, as you can see there. And she is going to be nuking them sky high, hopefully killing them. And we're going to continue. Now, she's not going to have the Rage Aura this time, or defense down, so the enemies will be a little bit harder to kill. But let's see if we can do some work. Zatlux, of course, is going second to help clean them up. And hopefully, just like that, that was fairly easy. And we're moving on to floor 50. For this video, I am going to stop the video at floor 50 so we can go ahead and look at our rewards. And we can talk about our heroes, look at their skills, look at their gear, and look at the synergy, look at their stats. And we'll talk all about that as soon as this run is over. So far, we are moving along very, very nicely, but you can see we are starting to hit 3 waves, and the runs will get a little bit longer, which is okay. We are doing really, really good, Going into wave 3 of 3, you could see Arendelle, who's another really good hero. I know some of my friends said that they could not get Nathalia as they started a little bit after the event ended, and they got Arendelle. They were a little bit upset, but after playing with him, he actually turned out to be fairly good. So if you did get Arendelle, use him. You can always use some of the other heroes. And of course, there are plenty of epics and legendaries available that will do AoE damage. So looking at our spoils, you could see I got a gigantic list of spoils. I am looking for pumpkins, which is very, very nice. I am looking for Stardust, which I almost got 500, not quite, but we did get a lot. So moving on, let's see. We got a couple of meal tickets. We get another pumpkin at floor 35, and we are getting Stardust. 2 on some floors and then 5 on others, which is very, very nice. Continuing all the way to floor 45, get a pumpkin, get a bunch of jelly on floor 46, 6,400 to be exact, and you can see I have over 6 million jelly. I did level a few heroes. I had over 11 million, and that was primarily from using my double XP bonus and farming glyphs. So there we have it. Floor 50 is done, and we're moving on. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait to claim this in the next video. Hopefully we will continue and we'll make progress to 100. I am really looking forward to the Ancient Summoning Crystal, which will give me a guaranteed epic and a legendary. The first hero that we were using in our rotation is Connor. Now you could see Connor is Fire Element and he's only level 50. Looking at his gear, you could see his gear is kind of just there. The only decent piece of his gear is the Terror Boots, and they are speed. They're only level 12. Nothing to look here. I did throw a couple of rings on him. I threw this +3 ring, which is a 6-star ring. It does have focus, some speed, and some health on it. Not much to see here. He's got some health on his cursed necklace. Looking at Connor. Now, Connor is pretty fast. I did not mean to make him 170, and you don't need him at 171 where he currently is. The reason why he's at 171 is because of his speed boots, and I actually had a nice speed roll on this cursed ring. Previously, I did steal his ring and his necklace, and he was missing those, and I wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to die on the first counterattack. So there's his stats. You can see his health is low, defense is low. I'm primarily using for speed and only his buffs and nothing else. Moving on to Nathalia, you can see my Nathalia is level 60. Here is her gear, nothing spectacular. All of this gear I got either from the bartender with gold, or I got this from Adventure while farming glyphs. You can see she does have +15 warrior boots. She is in speed boots primarily for arena. Looking at her info and her stats, you can see her attack is below 3,000, which is not ideal. Her speed is at 144, and I did that on purpose. I did put her in speed boots so she could go after Connor, but before Zatlux. Her glyph level is maxed out. By the way, if we look at Connor, his glyph level is not maxed out. If I can find him, he is level 50. If we look, he's just barely glyph level 4, and I stopped there. I can get some more speed on him, but he's already over 170, and I just don't need to. Going over to Zatlux, you could see all his glyphs are maxed out. He is my primary damage dealer, and I do need his glyphs. Looking at his gear, most of his gear is level 12. I do have 2 level 15 pieces, which this one rolled really well on substats. He does have 2 rolls on crit rate in a rage set, which does increase crit rate. So for me, that was worth it. And the other one actually is okay. It did roll crit rate and crit damage. And of course, it is in a rage set, so that helped a lot as well. Looking at his info really quick, you could see he is a little bit slower than I wanted him. I would like him at least 135 to 140. Anything under 130 is just too slow, especially once you start getting higher up in Void Tower and once you start hitting about Dungeons 11 and 12, Queen of Tides, Tulpa, things like that. You need to be focused on 130 at minimum, and I would say 135 to 140. His glyphs are maxed out as well, as I do use him in Roaring Tulpa. I've made some videos on that. You could see his gear is okay. I do have him in attack boots. This is my second pair of +15 attack boots. They're not the greatest, but they do work. That is what Aurak is wearing. You could see he's on Ascended. And if we look at his info, you could see that his attack is at 3,400. However, his crit damage is at 156, which is very, very low. The other heroes are closer to 200. Zatlux is just over 200, and Nathalia is just under. And you can see his speed is at 120, which is very, very slow. I do need to put him much faster. I'd like to get him 130 at bare minimum, but that would mean I would have to sacrifice his attack. So right now I'm trying to find the right combination of attack and speed. If I drop his attack down and I put him in speed boots, that will make him much faster. However, that will make my attack go down a lot, and I am struggling in Roaring Tulpa 11 as is because he does not have enough crit damage. In the next video, we're going to continue working through Void Tower together. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Hit the subscribe button down below. Also hit the thumbs up. If you do those things, the subscribe button will actually help me grow my channel, and the thumbs up will help the algo to recommend this video to more people like you. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.